Hello and welcome to our audience around the world. My name is Bettina Neidhardt. I am the Will Forum India partner in Switzerland and the founder of Globi.online. And I am very pleased to be here this week with a round of interviews with experts from Capgemini India. And today we have a very special guest, Gayathri Ramamurthy. Hello and welcome, Gayathri.
Hello, Bettina. Lovely to connect with you and lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much for joining us. This, of course, is a series of interviews in preparation for the 11th annual Will Forum India Conference for Leadership for Women in India. And this will be on December 10th at Land End in Mumbai at the Taj. So do sign up and do join everyone there. So Gayathri, we are very pleased to have you. Let me briefly introduce you. You are the India lead for diversity and inclusion at Capgemini India. And you're also part of the core team of the global program on women at Capgemini to enable gender balance and build a platform for women to accelerate into leadership. Very impressive. So a warm welcome again, Gayathri.
Thank you, Betty.
So we dive right into our three questions. The first question I have for you, tell us about your career at Capgemini, the highlights.
Sure. So it's been close to 10 years in Capgemini, and I've had various roles. I moved across a lot of the greenfield territories with Capgemini. I started and set up the senior hiring, basically to attract talent into the system, but in a relationship-based mode. So it was for senior profiles, which were senior manager and above. Then I moved from recruitment to talent development, and I've been in talent development for quite a while now. Past few years, I've been also taking responsibility of the diversity and inclusion, and this is probably my fourth year in this role. I also look after workplace safety and security, and so address redressal mechanism for workplace sexual harassment. I think that should cover some of them or most of them.
Quite impressive. Thank you so much. Okay, so of course we know about Capgemini's commitment to women in leadership. Tell us about the practical work you are doing on women in leadership and gender equality.
Sure. So maybe I should start off by talking about diversity and inclusion for Capgemini. We don't believe that any minority community should be or can be excluded. So we believe in including one and all as long as the talent is relevant for the organization. So we have three pillars in diversity and inclusion. The first one is on gender balance. The second is on people with disabilities. And the third is the LGBT community. Today, I guess the conversation is more on gender balance. So I limit my discussion with you to gender balance. Capgemini looks at gender balance from business imperative. So that implies that we believe it is a business need and hence drive gender balance in the system. Inequity has been there for a long time, especially corporate India. Corporate India has been predominantly male dominated. Leadership thinking and hence the language, the communication, the style of work, the role modeling have all been very male oriented. Does that mean that women don't have a place? Absolutely not. Women have to create the place and ensure an equal footing in the leadership level. Capgemini drives gender balance through multiple ways. Maybe I'll discuss with you a couple of initiatives. One of the things we're seeing is how women drop out due to personal needs, social requirements, social choices, and we would like them to resume their career. So we have a program called Captivate. So it's Capgemini's way of attracting back female talent into the system. And usually we find that they take this gap when they're married and second child comes into their lives. We find much more of nucleus families today than joint families, which was predominantly the culture in India. And due to this shift, we also see women drop their careers. Today, we have a workforce participation, which has dropped by easily 13 to 15% in India compared to, say, 15 years ago. So we need to attract back the talent to corporate India. So that's one. Another initiative we like to focus on is development. We believe that development and focused development at specific leadership levels has a positive impact to drive the career acceleration. While developmental interventions and training is ongoing for all employees in Capgemini, we take specific interventions for our women in relative grades. So in mid-managerial to later management advanced, we partner Will Forum, and we have a series of mentoring sessions with both internal and external industry leaders to engage our women, to make them reflect and understand why certain specific topics are very relevant. Yeah. In the leadership level, the conversation and topic is very different. You're already at a certain level and you're expected to accelerate your career from there. It's much more challenging in terms that the work thinking and the visioning has to constantly evolve. So the dimensions of leadership honing that we do there are slightly different. We believe in looking at global platforms, ensure inclusion of cultures, ensure understanding of leadership qualities and capabilities as being gender agnostic, and drive more front-end leadership positions for that level.
Excellent, very, very interesting, really great work you're doing. I really applaud you on that, fantastic. Next question, what are your thoughts on the Gender Quotient Index?
So gender quotient seems to be comparatively, I think it's something that's extremely needed and essential for all organizations, and we should look at it both at the macro level when it comes to an industry and micro level relevant to an organization. So in Capgemini, we call it the Gender Balance Index. And we have been working on this in terms of the dimensions. So we address the entire career lifestyle of a woman and compare it to that of all employees in the system. So it's from attracting talent, how we hire, then retaining them, and accelerating the talent. Yeah. What I believe that needs to be addressed, and we are working on it in a global platform, is some qualitative measures. One of them could be employee engagement, but more importantly, in our conversations with clients and customers, how are we enabling this conversation to be proactive and supported by the client? How can the client support, for example, women working in night shifts in India, and they continue to hold front-end positions there? So we have these conversations with our client, and I believe the Gender Balance Index should reflect these conversations, because that's very essential to driving the charter for tomorrow.
Absolutely, could not agree more. So one last question for you, since this is your area of expertise. What have you seen the approach to diversity and inclusion change over time?
Change over time, okay. 10 years ago, I used to be amused the way International Women's Day was celebrated. It was calling a group of women and having a lot of hoo-ha about painting, column, display arts and crafts. And when I took responsibility 5 years ago for this role, I said, no. In corporate India, what we would like to showcase women for their creativity in the business space, not their creativity and talent in cooking, not their creativity and talent in crafts and arts. This is a business imperative, and we position it as a business imperative. So I put a stop to all of that, much to the anger and angst of many of my contemporaries. And we started focusing on what matters most. What does matter most? To see more women in managerial to leadership positions. So we started ensuring that when we have inclusion weeks, and we run this in the week of March, which culminates to International Women's Day, and we run it in the month of November to December, which culminates to marking the day of International Day of Disabilities, which is December 3rd. And we said we talk inclusion, so we address bias, we address bias awareness, we bring about a lot of conversations on why bias per se is not a bad word, but it needs to be addressed, and there needs to be conversations around it. We talk about acceleration, we talk about developmental targets, we talk about engagement targets, we talk about the infrastructure and how we can improve the infrastructure and the quality of what we provide for all our employees. When we talk about crochet, it's very sad the conversation is limited to mothers. I think the conversation is for all employees, because as far as I know, you need a male to have a family, or be a parent, right? So we want co-parenting responsibilities, and we want the fathers to also take that responsibility within Capgemini. So a lot of our gender conversations are around recognizing that both parties are equally important in running a happy family and a happy home. So a couple of pointers I want to talk about in the shift. I'm seeing that the conversation has become more business focused. I'm seeing that over the past 10 years, there are more women who can be role models and who are coming out at the forefront. Social media has helped a lot. Technology has been a great enabler in ensuring that we can have these conversations. And more women see role models and understand that they are today leaders, but they're really as common or as average as all of us. And that helps a lot to break the myth that you have to be extraordinary. It's ordinary, hard work, which makes a lot of difference. The other thing I see is the number of men who are engaged in the conversation when it comes to gender balance. I'm so happy to see that. We have more and more men engaged in Capgemini. We have a good mix of men and women in our conferences and sessions, and they engage with equal passion on the role of women in leadership and in business leadership in Capgemini. So I'm happy that these are the steps that we've taken, and I'm also happy to support the change that I drive in society too. So it's a great feeling, and I hope women leaders come out.
Well, again, role modeling, that's what this is all about. So thank you so much for sharing your insights and the really great progress. And I agree, it can only work together, men and women. We're definitely in this together. Thank you so much, Gayathri Ramamurthy. We very much value your time, and of course, in your strong partnership with the Will Forum India and Capgemini, look forward to the 11th annual conference in Mumbai coming up soon. Thank you again so much. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye to our audience around the world. Thank you so much, Gayathri.